Did you know that Coca-Cola was originally marketed as a brain tonic and a medicine? Its creator, John Pemberton, was trying to create a liquid morphine substitute. In fact, the original recipe included coca leaves which contain cocaine. Today, we'll take a wild ride through the history of this iconic soft drink. In May 1886, pharmacist John Pemberton mixed up a concoction in his Atlanta pharmacy that would change the world of beverages forever. He called it Pemberton's French wine coca, but its origins are often attributed to its precursor, a coca wine Pemberton created earlier with his bookkeeper, Frank Meehan. It was 1886, and the temperance movement was in full swing. People were looking for alternatives to traditional spirits that wouldn't get them into trouble with the law. Pemberton added coca leaves from Peru and cola nuts from West Africa to give it a unique flavor profile, experimenting with sugar levels until he got it just right. This elixir of his was meant to be medicinal, of course, an intoxicating tonic that could cure headaches, relieve fatigue, and even quell morphine addiction symptoms. But what set Pemberton's creation apart was its affordability, only 5 cents a glass. News spread quickly about this tasty, energizing drink, and it soon landed in the hands of Asa Griggs Candler, one of Atlanta's most prominent entrepreneurs, who would take Pemberton's recipe to dizzying new heights. It's April 1886 in Atlanta, Georgia, and a pharmacist by the name of Dr. John Pemberton is hard at work on a new soft drink recipe. He's created a unique blend of sugar, caffeine, and cola nut extract that he hopes will become the next big thing. Pemberton sets up his stand at the 1886 World's Fair, one of the largest gatherings in the United States at the time. On display is a gleaming silver dispenser emblazoned with the words Coca-Cola, a name inspired by the cacao plant found in the drink's formula and colloquial slang of the era. The first customer takes a sample, pays just 5 cents for it, and gives his seal of approval to this odd little concoction. As the days go by, word spreads about the refreshing qualities of Pemberton's creation, and soon people are lining up at his stand to taste the magic of Coca-Cola for themselves. By fair's end, demand is so high that Pemberton enlists the help of a bookkeeper named Frank Meehan to manage the stand and fill orders, the roots of what would eventually become one of the world's largest beverage companies. Little did Pemberton know at this moment in 1886, his curious creation was about to revolutionize the soft drink industry forever. It was 1888 when John Pemberton's dreams of transforming Coca-Cola into a household name were put to the test. Despite his initial enthusiasm, Pemberton had no choice but to sell the secret formula for his beloved beverage to Asa Griggs Candler, a bookkeeper from Atlanta, for a mere $2,300. This was a pivotal moment in Coca-Cola's history, marking the first time ownership of the drink's iconic secret formula had changed hands. Interestingly, Pemberton's brother, Charles, also held a stake in the company at this point. But what happened next would threaten to derail every effort they'd made so far. As it turned out, Coca-Cola was not an easy sell. Its unfamiliar flavor and hefty price tag of 5 cents a glass had consumers scratching their heads, or more often, turning them off altogether. Sales were lackluster at best, with many merchants complaining that the drink's popularity simply couldn't be sustained. This was a bitter disappointment for Pemberton, who'd envisioned Coca-Cola as a shining success by this point in time. 1888 had been the first full year of sales, after all. It's 1894, and Asa Candler is finally starting to reap the rewards of his bold marketing strategy for Coca-Cola. The Atlanta pharmacist had taken control of the company just a few years earlier, but it wasn't until now that he began to put in place the campaigns that would catapult Coca-Cola into mainstream success. He traveled from town to town, setting up demonstrations and offering samples, really just a clever ploy to get potential customers hooked on the unique taste of Coke. It worked wonders. By 1895, annual sales had more than tripled, from $2,000 to over $30,000. As word of this miraculous new drink spread, so did its fan base. Coca-Cola became all the rage, people couldn't get enough. Candler's innovative marketing tactics and charisma helped him connect with local newspapers, convincing them to publish his advertisements and promote Coke as a health tonic, fresher than water. With his infectious enthusiasm, he turned a struggling company into an overnight sensation. And then in 1915, something truly iconic was born. The now famous Contour bottle, designed by the Root Glass Company of Terre Haute, Indiana, sleek, curvy, and unlike anything anyone had ever seen before. It was another masterstroke from Asa Candler's marketing playbook. As World War II came to an end, Coca-Cola was poised for unprecedented growth. In 1947, Max Keith, CEO of the company at the time, made a bold decision. He would establish a new headquarters in Chicago, shifting focus from Atlanta to become a truly global business. This marked the beginning of a remarkable expansion that would take Coca-Cola to every corner of the globe. By the early 1950s, Coca-Cola operations had spread across Europe, Asia, and Latin America, with bottling plants springing up like mushrooms after rain in major cities worldwide. It was a painstaking process, requiring collaboration between local entrepreneurs, governments, and the company itself to navigate different economic conditions, transportation networks, and cultural preferences. In 1955, Roberto Goizueta, a young executive from Cuba, joined the team as vice president for international operations, bringing with him an ear for market trends and entrepreneurial spirit that would fuel further growth. With Coca-Cola's sales revenue reaching astronomical levels, over $700 million by the end of the decade, the world was finally aware that this small Atlanta-based business had turned into a global giant in its own right. It's worth noting, however, that not all markets welcomed the new arrival so warmly in West Germany. For instance, restrictions were placed on Coca-Cola advertising and trade practices between 1947 and 1951 due to alleged post-war economic influence. Yet, as time went by, it became clear that the world now truly had a taste for this magical potion from Atlanta. As World War II came to an end in 1945, Coca-Cola was faced with the challenge of rebuilding its international business. At the time, coca leaf imports from Peru were prohibited due to wartime restrictions. To address this issue, Max Keith, the head of Coca-Cola's operations in Germany at the time, decided to get creative. Keith and his team experimented with locally sourced ingredients and came up with a new drink called Fanta, which would go on to become a huge success. But Keith didn't stop there. He also introduced a new brand extension that would revolutionize the company's business model: Sprite, Coca-Cola's first lemon-lime-flavored soft drink. Launched in 1961, Sprite quickly gained popularity and became one of the company's top-selling brands worldwide. Meanwhile, back in the United States, Coca-Cola was innovating on the packaging front by introducing Contour bottles that would become an instantly recognizable symbol of the brand. And if you were watching TV in the late 1940s or early 1950s, you might have seen The Pause That Refreshes ad campaign, a groundbreaking series of commercials that brought home the refreshing value of Coca-Cola and became an iconic part of American advertising history. Throughout its long history, Coca-Cola has been no stranger to controversy. One of the most notable was the use of generic coca leaves in some of their products, a practice that put them at odds with the Peruvian government as far back as 2006. The Andean nation had already banned the exportation of coca leaves in 1950, but Coca-Cola continued to import them from other countries, citing traditional recipe requirements. In response, officials seized a shipment of the leaves at Lima's International Airport, claiming they were attempting to circumvent local laws. The move sparked an international backlash against Coca-Cola, with many accusing the company of environmental disregard and reckless business tactics. The controversy put a spotlight not only on Coca-Cola, but also on the complexities of global trade and regulatory compliance. Fast forward to 2012, and another scandal rocked the company. Allegations that its beverages in Mexico contained high-fructose corn syrup linked to local health concerns. In response, Coca-Cola announced it would begin phasing out use of the ingredient, citing consumer demand for healthier options. Today, Coca-Cola sits proudly on the global stage as one of the most recognizable brands in the world. Its iconic contour bottle has become a ubiquitous symbol of refreshment, synonymous with quality and reliability. With sales exceeding $43 billion annually, it's astonishing to think about how this empire began with pharmacist John Pemberton in 1886 Atlanta. After experimenting with various recipes at his pharmacy, Pemberton developed Coke as a brain tonic and intellectual beverage, meant to cure headaches and relieve fatigue. When he first tested the drink on unsuspecting customers at Jacob's Pharmacy, its sweet-tasting fizz won them over, but it wasn't long before Pemberton's personal addiction issues began to plague him. His partner Asa Griggs Candler bought out Pemberton's stake in 1888, marking a turning point for the company as it transitioned from local curiosity to regional phenomenon, and eventually worldwide giant. The secret recipe remains locked safely away to this day, but one thing's certain: whatever magic is inside that bottle, it continues to captivate consumers across cultures, defying time and trends. Over 135 years after its birth, Coca-Cola stands as a testament not just to innovation and marketing genius, but also to the timeless power of perseverance and strategic vision. Whether savored as a luxury or guzzled at an ballpark, Coke's adaptability has cemented it as more than just a brand. It's become a shared experience. The next time you crack open a cold Coke on a hot summer day, remember the incredible journey that this iconic drink has been on. From its humble beginnings as a brain tonic to its current status as a global phenomenon, the story of Coca-Cola is truly one of a kind, and a reminder that with hard work and determination, anything is possible.